Welcome to the SFL Monday Night Spectacular here in Week 11. And we start with Haynes Vision tonight as Florida and Queen City are broken down by the one and only Ron Haynes. Isaac Covert, 63% completion percentage in the league, Charles Doherty. I'm really interested to see him and these two young quarterbacks on the field tonight.
Yeah, he's been very reliable. I mean, you can't really poke any holes in the way he's been playing tonight. And look at him give it off to Bullet Boletsky there. There's another guy they're going to be leaning heavily on tonight.
Bullet Boletsky so far this season, 308 yards, but importantly, 4 touchdowns. Boletsky has struggled to get in the end zone in the last couple seasons, but they're really trying to find him in the red zone. Ron Haynes, man, this dude has been killing it for Florida. 517 yards as a tight end. He could end up with a 1,000-yard season when it's all said and done.
He's one of the best, not just for tight ends, but wide receivers in general, but one of the best route runners in the league. And you can see on that play, great separation from the defense.
35 catches, but you know who has more? Mike Twinscrew. 47 receptions this season, second most in the SFL. I don't think it's a stat that most people would pick up on.
Yeah, and you know, if you're Isaac Covert, you're thinking having the likes of Mike Twinscrew on your team. He's Mr. Reliable in clutch situations. Rarely, when he's targeted, does he drop the ball.
On defense, let's start with Daniel Wright. The former Minnesota legend has been a difference maker in the Florida secondary for the last few seasons. 51 tackles along with 3 picks, including that one last week in a close loss to Houston.
They're going to try and feed tonight against the Corsairs, and Daniel Wright, he's got to be licking his chops up against the receiving core of the Corsairs.
Daniel Wright's got to pick up the slack because Andrew Francis, pictured here, 17-season veteran in the SFL, is inactive tonight. One of 6 inactive players across both these teams that are desperate for their 4th win. That's going to be a big blow to Florida's secondary.
Yeah, I mean, it all comes down to coaching, though, Cam. Know what your strengths and weaknesses are. Make best use of your talent on the field.
Finally, up front, the 12-season veteran, all with Florida, Alessandro Tomaello, getting the sack there on John Lakeman, and ask him for the roar of the crowd. He won't be doing that tonight in hostile territory in Buffalo, but there you see his 7 TFLs and 3 sacks.
He's got such a quick step off the line, and it instantly puts the offensive lineman at a disadvantage. He's able to make use of a direct path of the QB.
How about those Queen City Corsairs? Coming up, we got Silas Christensen, also in his 2nd season in the league. He's got 7 touchdowns, and hey, 61% completion just behind Covert.
He's maybe not as reliable as the Florida quarterback, but he can get it done. I mean, he's good in the medium and deep route runs by the wide receiver. But again, he's going up against a pretty stout secondary in Florida tonight, so I'm curious to see how he does.
Both these teams are streaky. Charlie Baker, 330 yards on 95 carries, but last week for Queen City, they got their fullback involved quite a bit well in the backfield. Lars Bazar, John Osmosis had a big game. So you never know who's going to step up in this backfield for the Corsairs, but you always know who's going to step up in the receiving game. That's James Matthew Jr.
Oh, I think he's going to be the focal point should be the focal point of the offense. He's one of the best tight ends, I'd say, of all times. Sorry, Dags, if you're listening, but he's another great route runner almost at the Haynes level. But his hands are incredible. I mean, rarely drops the ball, and he finds that separation between the defenders.
Davis is the Corsair downfield threat, 17.5 yards per reception. That's top 25 in the league, so look for him deep down the field. On defense, the big man making the play in the backfield right there, that is Dexter Jackson, coming over from Fort Worth in the offseason, and he's been a difference maker on this revolutionized defense.
Yeah, very versatile. You know, the Swiss Army knife out there. He can cover the run, cover the pass, and he can also push the quarterback.
We all know Justin Reside is the game wrecker. He's won so many games for the Corsairs over the course of his career. That was one of his 4 interceptions on the season, and it helped turn the tide in a game that Oklahoma City had momentum in last week.
Yeah, and they're going to be relying on him tonight. One thing that stands out about Justin Reside, he's such a disciplined defender. Knows what the coverage needs to be, doesn't get fooled very often, and just makes him capitalizes on the mistakes the offense makes.
Finally, Robert Crone, not going to fill the stat sheet, but he does have 3 sacks and a fumble recovery this season, even a pass deflection at defensive tackle. He's always there, always with his head up, Florida and Queen City should be a great game tonight, Charles. Your final thoughts before kickoff?
I mentioned it earlier, when we were kicking off the show. I think that it's going to come down to coaching here, because both of these teams have some issues on the roster, some folks not suited up, and it's making best use of the talent you got out on the field tonight.
Kickoff in about 1 minute. The Monday Night Spectacular is coming up next right here on the Virtual Football Network. Welcome to Buffalo, New York, where tonight we find out who takes control in the East. Again, Charleston had a chance to do it last week against the Arizona Scorpions, failed to do so, but the Predators find themselves on top of the East once more after another victory. At 4-5, they sit in a virtual tie with the Storm, but Florida has a chance to get to 4-4 tonight. So does Queen City, who's right in the thick of the wild card race in a four-way tie just below the top 12. Good evening, everyone. Charles Doherty alongside Cameron Irvine, Andy Hamilton, Justin Reside in the stats truck, Tyler Falk and Chris Curtis back at the studio to break down the playoff picture and everything else going on around the SFL here tonight. Charles, it should be a great one between Florida and Queen City. It's a matchup that surprisingly we don't get very often, but who knows? Maybe we'll get some fireworks tonight.
Yeah, both of these teams aren't playing typical, seasons. Both of these franchises have storied past. You're looking at them at 3-4. I'm waiting for one of them to rise to the top, and they're dealing with some issues we mentioned in the pregame with some of the folks not being suited up tonight. So I just want to see if maybe we see some wrinkles here to make best use of who they've got.
The ball's on the tee. It is off the tee thanks to Ethan Sneed. Kick it. We are underway. And on the return is Bob Wood up to the 35-yard line for Queen City. And that is where we will meet one of our two very youthful quarterbacks out there. It's not very often, Charles, especially in prime time, that we get a couple of second-year quarterbacks in the SFL. Quarterbacks are hard to gain starting jobs in this league, and Christensen and Covert have sort of waited their opportunity. This is their moment to shine tonight in prime time.
Yeah, and they're for being so new in the SFL, they're playing very solidly.
First down at the 35-yard line, and going in motion for Queen City is Ryan Davis, who now is lined up at the halfback in the backfield. Christensen off a blitz. That pass is incomplete, so it'll bring up second down and 10. Something to note, Florida Storm's defense missing two key pieces tonight. Jesus Smith at outside linebacker. Andrew Francis, the starting strong safety. Corey Hall is the only other strong safety on the roster for Florida, so we'll see how they handle that here tonight, and we'll get to the rest of the active defense for Florida here in just a moment. It's second down and 10 for Queen City. It's Christensen, John Osmosis, Charlie Baker, Lars Bazar in the backfield. Ryan Davis, Bob Wood, Guy Clausen, and Joe Beasley at receiver, along with James Matthew Jr. at tight end, as that pass is deflected away by Ryan Tobin. The offensive line for Queen City to watch: Don Cosmosis, Landon Onum, Kai Pickle, and Demon Pickle. The defense for Florida up front: DeAndre Stoneville, Alessandro Tomaello, Pete Mitchell, and Ryan Tobin at inside linebacker. In the secondary, Ryan Davidson, Evan Carroll, Adam Jones, and Daniel Wright. Third down and 10 for Queen City, trying to avoid a 3-and-out. As Christensen has a clean pocket, but Matthew Jr. dropped it on the sideline. It almost, Charles, looked like he was trying to make sure his feet got inbounds, but no yards on the first three plays, and the Corsairs will have to punt.
Yeah, I think I jinxed him in pregame. That hit him in the mitts, and normally Matthew Jr. doesn't drop those.
Not the start that the Corsairs wanted here on their opening drive. Queen City scores 17.1 points per game. That's second fewest in the league, despite a 3-4 record, which is a bit of a surprise, as Florida returns this up past the 29-yard line. That's Art Vandelay to the 35, and that's where Florida will start with the football. Okay, we'll see if Isaac Cover can do anything better. Third in the league in completion percentage, third in attempts, and second in completions with 154.
I want to see if one of the things that Florida's so good at is getting their backs in the backfield active, not only running and passing. Let's see if we see a little bit of that, some swing pass and screens from Florida tonight.
Handoff to start. That's Boletsky. And hey, look, positive yardage. The Florida offense includes Covert, Boletsky, Chris Komisak, Art Vandelay, Mike Twinscrew, and Shea Carroll, along with Ron Haynes. Up front, it's Joseph Wade and Greg McDonaldson. On the Queen City defensive side, it's Darko Young, Finn Steele, Robert Crone, Duncan Onum, Luke Swift, Dexter Jackson, Elijah Quick, Eric Belmont, Alex Marshall, and Justin Reside. This is another Boletsky handoff, picking up 1 yard rather on the play. So 3rd and 7 coming up as Swift brings him down.
Yeah, Swift 5'11", just came in there. It was very fast. It's surprising speed for 5'11", 205-pound outside linebacker. Was able to get there quickly and stop the run.
3rd and 7. Can Queen City's defense do what Florida did to them on the opening drive? Shea Carroll in his 14th SFL season goes in motion as Covert rolls out. Isaac Covert looking down the field. There's a penalty marker. It is caught off the deflection by Vandelay. Let's check the flag. It is ineligible downfield, so that will come back. That is a surprising penalty, especially on a play like that, but I guess on a little bit of a rollout. The offensive lineman gets down the field too far, and that will force a 3rd and 12.
I was going to say, Cam, that the offensive line did a great job of protecting their quarterback, but apparently not.
Well, you thought you couldn't get worse than Florida's or Queen City's 0 on their opening possession. Covert avoids a sack, gets rid of it, and then Haynes drops it. So we've got 2 tight ends with the dropsies on the opening couple of drives, and Florida will have to punt it away.
I don't think Haynes was expecting that pass. Covert was able to extend that play with the rush right in his face, and Haynes, I think, was ready to go back and go off the field because the punt formation was coming out.
So the Storm will have to punt it away. And from the 24-yard line on the return to the 28 is Bob Wood, and Queen City will end up with decent field position here to start. These two teams, Charles, have a combined 9 championships in 25 seasons. And that's almost 40% of championships residing with these two teams.
It's amazing. And it's, again, it's eye-opening that both of these teams are 3-4 this season.
Both teams kind of in a, not really a rebuild, but certainly going through a transition, as that is the first carry for John Osmosis. He was spectacular in his start last week, his first start of the season.
Yeah, he's got 2 touchdowns so far this season, and again, impressive rookie. 224 at 6'3". He's kind of tall, but he's also very agile on his feet.
The handoff up the middle, dragging defenders. That is Lars Bazar, who had an excellent first half, and we got a first down.
Doesn't get a lot of touches, but when he does, he makes the best out of it. Just the defenders grabbed on, and he took them to the promised land. There's no way they were going to bring down Bazar.
Osmosis, 22 carries, 128 yards last week in the win over Oklahoma City, a long of 47. That was a career-long run for Osmosis. Has not scored a touchdown, though, since August 22nd against Carolina. Toss play out to Osmosis, and he picks up 3 to set up a 2nd down and 7.
Davidson trying to bring him down, but again, he's a pretty big running back there when he gets his steam going.
Queen City, I'm sure, did not like the way that opening possession started, but defense comes up with a nice stop, and now they're rolling a little bit. 6:35 to go in the first quarter. This time they toss it out to Baker. Baker with some space, picking up 6. Will set up a 3rd down and 1 for the Corsairs.
It's amazing what a couple successful running plays can do. Steady up the offense there. They needed that. Looked like they were a little disjointed on that first series.
Hand off, 3rd and 1, and Florida with the stop. A loss on the play. Stepping up to make that tackle was the outside linebacker, Vrabel, in place of Smith to force a 4th down and 2.
That was a good stand there by the entire defense for the Storm. The very disciplined for the defensive line held their blocking.
We mentioned that neither team has had a win streak at the start of the broadcast. Queen City trying to get their first win streak of the season by getting a win tonight, coming off that win over Oklahoma City. They won 3 in a row down the stretch last season, and Florida 3 times last season strung together a couple of wins. But right now, on a 2-game slide after losing badly to Mexico City and Houston in back-to-back weeks, 2 of the toughest teams in the SFL right now, to be fair.
I'm just looking at one of these teams to show some consistency on offense. So far, the defense is starting to tighten it down as they get closer to the red zone.
First down to the 25. Boletsky gets shoulder charged by big number 96, Duncan Onham, 6'3", 246 in his second season, formerly of Nashville. Second down as the Buffalo crowd roars. Another handoff here. This is the fullback, Chris Komisak, getting most of it. 3rd and a long 2 coming up as Florida gets into the positives in total yards.
Tons of options for Covert. I think now's the time you want to get Ron Haynes involved, in my opinion.
Haynes with 1 target, no receptions so far tonight. And up Boletsky, and dropped in the backfield. That's Dexter Jackson shooting the gap and forcing yet another punt here in the opening quarter. Jackson now with 12 TFLs this season.
Yeah, so far he's had a couple big plays tonight, and he's leading the charge there for that Queen City defense, and they're looking at getting the ball back and maybe putting something positive on offense.
We got a chess match going here. 4th punt of the night so far, but Queen City slowly but surely is winning this field position battle. They're now starting on their own 36. That's the best starting field position that we've had tonight.
Yeah, it's kind of like a tennis match, back and forth.
What about pickleball, Charles? Are you into that whole craze? What's going on with that?
I've never played.
Isn't pickleball just tennis for people that aren't athletic enough to play tennis? Is that what's going on with that?
Well, I mean, it's for, let's just say it's for a targeted demographic.
Ah, okay.
People that knees aren't as good as and ankles aren't as good as they used to be.
Right. Okay. So basically everyone 23 and older in this country, right?
Well, yeah, I guess these days, yeah.
Second and 5. It's all the red 40. It's killing us. 2nd down and 5. Handoff to Bazaar. Picks up 3. Will set up a 3rd down and 2.
Thought he was going to get a 1st down there. I think that was Adam Jones that came in and delivered the hit on that one.
Both deep, considering that Chad Stinson, Bentley Bonner, Andrew Francis, and Jesus Smith are all out of this game tonight on the inactive list. Both defenses have been pretty sharp so far. 3rd down and 2 as Queen City tries to keep the drive going. Christensen going to set up a screen. That is caught by osmosis. And down the sideline, the Queen City sideline. That's a 1st down. There we go. The Corsairs getting it moving on a screen. I think you were calling for that for Florida earlier.
Yeah, well, and I also talked about throwing some wrinkles in. And Osmosis, it's only got 1 reception, I believe, this season. So, the Queen City offensive coordinator maybe threw a little wrinkle in there, put that swing pass in. I don't think Florida was expecting it.
That's Christensen's first completion of the quarter. He was previously 0 for 3, trying to hit 3 different targets in the receiving game, but then finds Osmosis on the screen. So 1st down at the Florida 37. This is Christensen dropping a throw. He fires to the left. That pass is caught by Beasley. Joe Beasley in his 5th SFL season gets Queen City in the red zone.
And that's a lesson on how a quarterback extends the play. The pocket started to break down. You can be surprised how a couple steps from one direction adds some time to allow the receiver to develop a route. And on that particular play, Beasley got a little in front of the defender and made him pay for it.
Corsairs certainly not in the running right now in the Northern Division. That is a two-way race between DC and Pittsburgh at the moment, but right in the thick of the wild card playoffs, just like they were last season. But that pass is picked off by Ryan Davidson. Now going the other way with one man to beat, dragged out of bounds by Christensen to the 28-yard line, and that wipes clearly our best chance tonight for points off the board.
Yeah, ill-advised pass. There were a couple defenders right there on the goal line, and Ryan Davidson got the interception. I believe that's his first interception of the season. It's amazing. I don't even believe the words coming out of my mouth.
Yeah, that's just wild. I mean, Carroll's got 2, Jones has 2, Wright has 3, Francis has 2. All in all, just 15th in the SFL this season in interceptions, but Ryan Davidson finally on the board. That's interception number 95 on his career. And just a major accomplishment, one away from tying Giovanni Bolt, who recently hit the inactive list for Baltimore, so you never know, as Davidson continues his ascension in his 16th SFL season. Second down 7 for Florida. Shea Carroll going in motion. Trailed by Elijah Quick on the outside. This is Covert back to throw. That pass is deflected, and coming over to help out is Dexter Jackson, who's been a little bit everywhere tonight. Third down and 7.
Everywhere. Anywhere the ball is, Jackson is going to be there. And that one just almost had an interception there. I think they needed that, but nevertheless, he got a pass deflection.
Third down 7, trips off the left for Florida. Covert dropping to throw. Fires middle. That is hauled in right over the head of the, the defender, Shea Carroll, with the reception.
That was a very accurate pass by Covert. Thought it was going to be at least a pass deflection.
Wow.
The defender, number 21, Reside. Looks like I thought he was going to get his mitts on. It was just barely out of his reach. They were able to get a completion and a first down.
Reside, an Olympian, surprised he was not able to jump up and swat that football away. First down and 10 at the 47-yard line for Florida as Covert drops to throw. He'll check it down to Comisac, picking up 3 if Chris Curtis was our official. I don't know how that's 3 yards.
And Chris Curtis used to be, didn't we call him the logo at one point on this team?
That's true, yes. He very much used to resemble still kind of does, with the modernized Pirates here in Queen City. Second down and 7. The handoff goes to Beletsky. Speaking of Chris Curtis and Tyler Falk, they are in studio tonight because we have playoff pictures to talk about. 5 weeks left in the regular season. They're going to break down our first look at that and some of the really quite insane action around the league in Week 11. Charles, it was a wild week as Covert drops to throw, runs left, gets it off to Carroll, breaks a tackle, then Carroll dragging a defender all the way down to the Queen City 23, and now Florida has the best opportunity to get points on the board.
Yeah, early in this game so far, Carroll's getting a lot of targets. I don't know who's guarding him, but covering him on defense, but they got to get a little tighter on him, maybe bump him up on the line because he's making his way on those route runs and finding openings.
That is the end of a scoreless first quarter here from Buffalo, New York. Your score, Florida nothing, Queen City nothing. I did just say it was scoreless. Stay right here. Points are coming up, I promise. Aerial coverage of today's game provided by Dag's Drone Works, aerial photography and videography services for real estate events, marketing, and more. Learn more at dagsdroneworks.com. So many beautiful cities in this country. The Buffalo City Hall. That is a tall city hall, Charles.
Did you, kind of off topic here, did you intentionally try and sound like Seinfeld on that one?
Did I?
Kinda did. It's a big tower. Like,
I could do a pretty decent Seinfeld impression.
I know. You were killing it.
No, totally unintentional. First and 10 as the handoff goes to Bettis. He picks up 3 yards. I can't believe it wasn't 4. 2nd and 7.
Who are all these people? So, Jerome Bettis. Wow, okay, that's another 5'11" player out there. That's awesome.
You like the, it's cheer one for the sub 6 foot, right?
Yep.
2nd and 7. 9:35 to go in the first half. Florida looking for our first points of the night. As Covert drops to throw, he'll check it down to Beletsky, but Queen City was all over that. I think they may have been manned up, and Dexter Jackson says, I got him, 3rd and 9.
Well, I still like the fact that they're doing it because it's keeping the defense honest and trying to guard those edges.
On 3rd down, Florida so far tonight, 2 for 5. Rolling to his left is Covert. No flag this time. That pass is complete. Shea Carroll's been the 3rd down machine, and it's 1st and goal for the Storm coming up.
And now I can say the offensive line did an outstanding job. I mean, look at the blocking on that rollout. Plenty of time, and Carroll is on fire tonight. And he's not, just to be completely honest, his game ratings aren't incredibly high. He's a solid wide receiver out there, but the other folks out there, Twins Crew and Vandalay, are getting some attention. But tell you what, Carroll's making the most of it.
8:40 to go in the first half. Beletsky is wrapped up by Jackson after a pickup of couple. Think outside the box loves Seinfeld, and I think Skip liked the impression. She seemed startled. I'm not sure if she liked it or didn't, but.
Does she give out compliments very easily? She seems to be tough to dish out compliments.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. We can't expect too much in that department. Tied at 62 yards and no points until now. Chris Komisak, touchdown. Florida's on the board first.
4th TD of the season, which is amazing as well. But man, great they get Komisak involved in the passing game and the running game. It was just able to capitalize. Very solid. Got to tip my hat to the offensive line on the pass blocking and run blocking. Outstanding.
Komisak's 4th touchdown of the season. Beletsky also with 4, and Komisak gets touchdown number 41 on his career. That extra point is up and good. 11 plays, 73-yard, 4-minute, 11-second drive. And for Komisak, he is now 1 away from tying Douglas Brown, the former number 1 pick in the draft, for all-time rushing touchdowns. A top 50 rusher, Chris Komisak.
And doesn't have a follicle on his head. That was one clean grape.
He was great to meet at the 2025 SFL convention. Can't wait to get to 2026 and see where we're going.
Full head of hair.
Who, Komisak?
Yeah.
No, he definitely does not.
But his on-field player doesn't, and he doesn't.
Right. It's
nice.
Very realistic.
I like that. That's awesome.
Some people go the opposite direction, Charles, and they build a player that's completely different from them. And then you meet him in person, and you're like, wait a minute. You've been...
Now, that's weird. That's really weird.
But that was... Looking at Chris Komisak on the bench just there, it was just like looking at him in Baltimore, live in real time. That pass incomplete as Christensen got clocked as he threw that one, intended for Ryan Davis. So Christensen now down to 2 for 7.
Love the fact that they turned up the heat on that play to keep Christensen on his toes.
8 minutes to go in the first half, and Queen City, despite a solid start, find themselves trailing here a little bit. Osmosis off the fullback handoff, or from the fullback spot, picks up 1. That's Diggs on the tackle. 3rd and 9.
Yeah, 2 plays in a row where they Put a couple extra men in there to shut it down.
Christensen going to go out of the empty. Against a four-man rush. Silas down the field into double coverage and able to squeeze it in there to Guy Clausen for the first down.
Guy Clausen. It's hard for me to get used to him being a wide receiver, but on that play, great route run, but the offensive line was doing another good job. We were talking about Florida, but the offensive line, they held their own on that one, and quarterback had plenty of time to go through his progressions.
Christensen spreading the ball around. Davis 2 targets, Clausen 2, Beasley 2, Matthew Jr. 1. As Christensen has to escape to his left, and that pass was deflected over the head of Ryan Tobin, able to just get a couple fingertips on it. 2nd and 10 coming up.
That people in game chat don't know I was being castical.
They don't understand. Sorry, I understood. I heard the humor.
Wow.
I was being serious. Did you think I was being sarcastic? You don't understand my humor. So anyway, 2nd and 10. Christensen dropping the throw. Four-man rush is going to dump it off. And in the open field, a very impressive tackle right there to set up a 3rd down and 8. That's Neal Diggs, another outside linebacker that's rotating in for Jesus Smith.
It just took too long to develop. I mean, you got to get rid of that ball quickly and put it in the right spot so the wide receiver, the halfback in this case, could turn upfield and put the Jets on. Wasn't able to do it on that play.
3rd down and 8. Another four-man rush. Christensen almost hauled in by Bob Wood. A valiant effort, but Daniel Wright swats it out of his fingertips, and Queen City will have to punt away.
Saw a couple sparks on this possession cam for Queen City. They need to go back on the sidelines and figure it out, make a couple more adjustments. I think they're half a step behind on their offense.
6:34 to go in the first half. Queen City still trying to find it here tonight. Fair catch called for at the 24. That was not maybe the punt they were looking for there from the Corsairs. Vandelay was the returner. Queen City's defense gives up 25.3 points a game, but Florida's defense is worse. 21st.
Definitely 21.
In the SFL, giving up 27.4 points per game. So in the in a game between an offense that's struggling and a defense that's struggling, so far Florida is winning that battle. Elijah Quick with a stick 1 yard past the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, a point of note here, you were talking about the last punt. Their starting punter is not suited up today. That could be a big deal here late in the game.
Trace Welsh missed almost the entire season for Queen City. That helped Florida's field position out here a little bit. 2nd down and 9. Covert again avoids a sack, and again Ron Haynes, maybe unsuspectingly, targeted but can't come down with a reception. 0 for 2 in that situation.
Stood tall in the pocket, and I don't think the receiver again was expecting the ball to hit him in the midst.
3rd down and 9 for Florida. Already their 7th 3rd down attempt. Shea Carroll has been the man on 3rd down so far. That one is incomplete. Sticky coverage down the field. Queen City's defense with another stop. And Charles, we have our 6th punt of the night to go along with 8 first downs.
Wow, yeah, that's interesting. I mean, hopefully that becomes less and less in the second half.
The punt is away for Florida. Both teams probably not feeling great about where they are right now, but not feeling terrible either. More good starting field position for the Corsairs up to the 36-yard line as Bob Wood flips the field.
I think Queen City at this point has got to look at putting something up on the board here. This is a big drive for them. They've got 5 minutes and some change, and they've got pretty decent field position. They got to capitalize on it.
And that's tough to do when you're playing Marcus Agrippa, an eight-time All-Star for Florida, although his last appearance was season 21. In 12 seasons, that means that over the last few seasons, he was on a streak there. for a while. First down, toss. This is Osmosis. Look at the blocking on the outside. Osmosis running for days. Out of bounds after a pickup of about 35 yards.
That was a huge run. I mean, Queen City, you can't overstate how much they needed that play. I mean, that's something to, put some energy in that offensive line. They needed a boost, and that type of play by Osmosis, the rookie, just what you need.
That goes as I'm going to call that a 31-yard carry upon review, unofficially, but still an excellent carry for Osmosis, who had that 47-yarder in his last game out against Oklahoma City. That helps Queen City move the football into Florida territory. Dump off to the fullback, Lars Bazar. He's crushed by Ryan Davidson, who's having a great first half. 2nd and 8. Remember, Charles, the last time Queen City had a chance to get points on the board through that pick to Davidson, who's featured there.
That's right. That's right. I don't know if that's going through Christensen's mind right now. Probably not. He's a pro.
Under 5 to go in the first half. This is Christensen dropping a throw and winds up across the field. I don't know how he saw James Matthew there, picking up 7 to set up a 3rd down and 1.
Yeah, and Matthew had to elevate to get that ball too. I mean, that was I thought I was going to eat my words on that one. Matthew proved me wrong.
3rd down and short for Queen City. Can they pick it up? Keep the drive alive. They're going to toss it. Florida was ready for it, but Osmosis reached out and got it. That was a stellar second effort there from Osmosis.
Yeah, that was a great effort there. After getting the pitch, was just able to muscle past the chains and get a 1st down.
Down to 4 to go in the first half. These teams putting together some couple of lengthy drives here in the second quarter. Great seal block. That is big number 28 rumbling down the 1-yard line. The backup fullback, Aaron Shea. Everything working for the Corsairs run game right now.
Yeah, that outside pitch is killing it. they're setting the block on the edge perfectly and allowing the fullback or the halfback just to do what they need to do, and that's just put on the afterburners and try and get in the end zone.
Queen City averages 107 rushing yards a game. That's 11th best in the SFL. Florida a little bit behind them, 15th at 88.3. The Storm nowhere near that here in the first half. 1st down and goal at the half-yard line for the Corsairs. Got to watch for a pick here. What's your inside the 1-yard passing game look like in the book? Christensen's pass is incomplete as that was nearly taken away. 2nd down and goal coming up.
I mean, I always get nervous when they throw it in the middle in the end zone. I mean, I like the out routes to the sidelines. You got a little bit more room to work with, and there's not as many sharks circling.
68 to 141 in total yards here in the first half. 2nd down and goal for Florida. This is Queen City, their 7th play of the drive, and Lars Bazar goes high for the score. Touchdown, Queen City, a point away from tying this game.
They have got him involved in this game, Cam. This is his 2nd touchdown of the season. A big plays for him, not only running but blocking as well, and capped it off there. Again, Queen City needed to get that touchdown, put some points on the board here before the end of the first half.
That had to feel good for the Corsairs. And we'll see if their extra point is good. Last time these two teams met, they scored a combined 71 points. Just doesn't feel like that type of game here tonight as the extra point is up and good. 7 plays, 64-yard drive. Ends in a touchdown. The last time Queen City defeated Florida was July 19th, 2020. That was week 1 of season 15. Queen City won that on the road in an upset at the I-17-10, and that feels like more of a type of game that we're going to get here this evening as Vandalay returns that up to the 29-yard line. Here's what's coming up on the Monday Night Spectacular Halftime Report. Chris Curtis and Tyler Falk reunited, and it feels so good. Hopefully they will keep their bro hugs at a minimum. We will go over first half of action from Buffalo. The playoff picture as it sits right now, play who's in and who's out With 5 weeks left in the regular season, all that and more on the SFL Monday Night Spectacular halftime reports. Never want to miss those two, and Charles is always wondering how they're dressed as Luke Swift drops Boletsky for a loss of 1. Boletsky now 5 yards on, check that, 4 yards on 7 carries.
I'm wondering how you knew that song. That is not in your generation.
Knew what song?
Reunited and It Feels So Good.
Don't ask me who sings it.
Little Peaches and Herb.
There you go. See, I would have never gotten that. I would have said Phineas and Ferb. Art Vandelay, first down to the Queen City 45. And Isaac Covert now 7 of 11 in the first half.
That's a big play there for Florida. Looked like Queen City was starting to kind of bog them down here on this drive, but man, that was a great pass by Covert. Excuse me.
And finally, someone not named Shea Carroll making a catch downfield. Vandelay goes for 35. Carroll 4 catches for 53 yards. 3 different receivers in the backfield, and Covert overthrows unexpectedly everyone, and Alex Marshall makes a surprising interception.
All Alex Marshall needed to do was take 2 back steps, and the ball hit him right in the numbers. I mean, he held on to it, which is great. Wow, that's what you call an errant pass, Cam.
A surprising interception for Covert, although it's been kind of a bugaboo for him this season. 13 picks. Christensen with just 10 in comparison. But a first down now at the 25-yard line for the Corsairs with momentum off the score. Matthew Jr. gets away and is racing down the open field past the 20, the big man, all the way down to the 12. First down, Queen City.
He's a weapon, Cam. He's a weapon. He can jump up in the air and bring it down from the top of the building, or he can catch it in stride and take it for a big gain. That's amazing.
And that was a slot corner, Andre Woolfork. And if you're Christensen, that's the matchup you want. You got a big tight end on a small corner like that, 6'1", 197 versus 6'7", 265. Has Queen City in scoring position on back-to-back drives. There's the updated numbers on Matthew Jr. Goes for 62.
I don't think we saw that route at all so far tonight out of Matthews.
Christensen now 7 of 15. Queen City goes back to the toss game, but this time Daniel Wright is there to make the stop, a gain of just 1.
I mean, they've got time on the clock to do this. I mean, they just need to be patient and not try and force it in the end zone.
1:35 to go in the first half. As the handoff goes to Osmosis, setting up a 3rd down and 3.
Yeah, I love it when they lined up with 3 wide and just ran it up the middle, keeping that defense spread, because, as you know, at the real estate gets very small as they start getting into that near that end zone.
Christensen out of the empty on 3rd down, incomplete. It was a bang play in the end zone, looking for Matthew Jr. again.
That's what you need to do, and it hit him though. Hit him in the hands. He could have, and that's a couple passes tonight that I think Matthew's going to lay down tonight in bed and go, man, I should have had those.
Some rare drops from one of the league's best tight ends so far this season. Matthew Jr. has 39 receptions. That's 11th most of all receivers. A 22-yard field goal attempt coming up for Queen City, and they take the lead. Now 10-7, a 5-play, 68-yard drive for James Matthew Jr. He is 4th amongst tight ends in receptions this season.
I have to ask him, this is off topic, so don't get mad. What is the significance of all the bushes and trees in the stadium?
I think a lot of greenery does us a lot of good, Charles. I mean,
I'm just curious. I don't know. I didn't see a lot of trees when Dags worked, was flying the drone around and you were doing the Seinfeld impression.
Now we're in the We're outside of suburbia here in Buffalo. Charles, you might be a tree hater, but they keep us alive.
I love trees. I didn't think Buffalo had trees.
Cameron Irvine, I'm a tree hater, here with you here on the Monday Night Spectacular as Ron Haynes has a first down. That is his first catch, Charles, now 1 of 3, and it's amazing what happens when you're expecting the football.
I don't even have to put the worm on the hook and get Dax bites. It's funny. Sorry, I'm getting sidetracked, but this is, I think there's enough time here for Florida to do something good here and put some points on the board.
2 timeouts left for Florida now. Down 10-7. McCover! Oh, that would have been a touchdown. Luke Swift couldn't squeeze it.
Oh, my gosh. Oh, it hit both of his hands twice.
Luke Swift with just 8 picks in 7 seasons in the SFL was the most improved player in season 23. Had an opportunity for his first pick 6 right there. Queen City only has 1 player on the roster who's ever had a pick 6. That's Justin Mazide with 4. 2nd and 10. Covert fires to Carroll, picking up 2. And Florida will try one more time here on 3rd and 8.
Wow. I'm still thinking about that dropped interception.
Third down for the Storm. Will Swift be thinking about that dropped interception? He's kind of in the slot over there on Haynes. They go away from him, and that pass is incomplete. Looking for Mike Twinscrew, who, Charles, is 2nd in the league in receptions. That's his first target of the first half.
Right. I'm right in the pads, I believe.
Man, Queen City's got to be feeling pretty good about how this first half has gone, outgaining Florida 210 to 115. Coming off a 1-point win, and it's certainly anybody's game still, but Bob Wood continues to be a game wrecker. Wood, one man to beat, and there he goes. Bob Wood in his 5th SFL season with a punt return touchdown in prime time.
Man, that was fantastic. I don't think we've had a return this season in Monday Night Spectacular that could equal that one.
In 118 punt returns in his career, 25th most in SFL history. That is Bob Wood's first punt return touchdown.
Unbelievable. We talked about Queen City needing to do something to jumpstart their scoring, and man, all right, I think they listened.
What a huge momentum. Turner and Queen City now has scored 17 unanswered points, and they've done it on their last 3 drives, all in this second quarter, and all since under 6 minutes to go in the second quarter.
That was amazing. I mean, they are riding the wave of momentum, Cam. Nothing like a great special teams return like that. Pump your team up.
Now Queen City's feeling really good about this first half as Adam Jones takes the return up to the 27-yard line. 23 seconds left for Florida. I would just hand it off and get to the half and figure out what to do next.
I thought when Bob Wood took that ball back, I thought he was going to run all the way into the forest that was up there in the bleachers.
Jeez. You just can't let trees have it. It was their earth first. Anyway. Isaac Covert lost the ball. Picked up by Florida, and that was almost a complete disaster here at the end of the first half.
Disaster avoided. Matt Burke, I believe, picked that up and made the heads-up call and kept disaster from happening.
Forcing the play. It was Finn Steele, the defensive tackle, in his second season. I don't know if we're going to get it now. Not going to be a booth review there, so it's going to go down as a official forced fumble. But, Finn Steele with his first forced fumble of his career, as that pass is hauled in by Twinscrew. That almost felt like a here, we still know you exist play at the end of the first half.
Yeah, it definitely. That's what we call a turn of events for Queen City in this first half game. They're walking into the locker room with just full 110% confidence, and they're going to be fired up coming out here in the second half.
A surprising finish to the first half. Queen City leads Florida 17-7 in a battle of 2, 3, and 4 teams trying to get to 500 ahead of Week 12. Charles, your overall first half thoughts?
That second half, that second quarter for Queen City, they saw something, and you got to take your hat off to them that they kept at it. They were doing those swing passes and those pitches. They weren't working that great in the first quarter, but then they exploded. They saw something, made some adjustments, and then all facets of the game, they clicked. Defense, offense, and special teams. They just got in sync, and now we're looking at 17-7 lead.
First half players, Matthew Jr. with his huge catch for 62 yards that got Queen City in position to take the lead. We've got Chris Curtis and Tyler Falk on the other side. Coming up next here on the Monday Night Spectacular Halftime Report. We'll see you back here for the second half in a moment.
And with that, welcome into the MNS Halftime Report. It is Week 11. Tyler Falk, it's been a long time since you and I have been here. Welcome back in, sir. It's been a fun one in Buffalo. 17-7 Queen City leads in a game they probably should lead given the total yards.
Yeah, absolutely. First off, it's been a while. I've had to dust off my part of the studio here.
Yeah.
It's been a hot minute. So it's good to be back. Good to have you back here. But Buffalo, New York has seen their hometown team really stretch it out as the half was ending. And, I mean, what more can be said? A great job by their defense containing Florida, and on paper, what should have been the better team in the Storm coming on the road and trying to take care of business for their own playoff hunt, if not a division title hunt. So kudos to Silas Christensen and the rest of the gang for really stepping up when it mattered the most, especially that punt return touchdown certainly helps matters and really boosts their confidence coming out of the locker room.
Yeah, you'd think if you're 2-1 in total yards, you would have a better lead than a 10-7. So that punt return really kind of made things right as it sits. So good stuff from the Corsairs, good stuff from the Florida Storm as well. A couple of teams with some young quarterbacks. And as I tell you what, this first time I've seen Florida play without Ron Cochran, and it is a bit of a shock to the system. No doubt about that. All right. Well, as we break things down, there's a lot of football left. 5 weeks left in the regular season. And with that, I want to take a look with you guys at the playoff picture as it sits right this very minute. As we'll wait for that to come on screen with some help from our producer, Cameron Irvine. How about Houston? This is a team, Tyler, that I did not expect to be where they are. They are over Mexico City in the South Division. What is working for them, and do they have the staying power?
I think everything. Let's get to just the root of the issue here. The offense is clicking. This defense is finally coming into their own. And I think it's a really, really just a changing of the guard moment. You look at this playoff picture as a whole here, Curtis. From last season, there are 6 new teams as the moment of this playoff picture comes in that were not in the postseason last season. Shout out to Houston for getting the job done. How about Pittsburgh at 6-2, one of the newest franchises to the SFL, making a claim, jumping forward, getting out there. Denver with their new coaching staff coming out here. Just a lot of the right pieces falling into place. I mean, Houston's the catalyst. But the branches go further out in this in this playoff picture. We're really leaving it to everyone to really make a stand here and to really show some bark, show some teeth to really solidify their defenses. That can be the case with Houston, Denver, and Pittsburgh all on itself. I mean, with the black and gold, and we'll call it blaze red eyes brigade up there in Pittsburgh, really doing a nice job of controlling matters, controlling the game. Really impressed with those 3 teams in particular.
How about Minnesota back in the playoff hunt, Albuquerque back in the playoff hunt? You have a division leader in the East Division, which actually should have probably been better than it has been. That is Charleston. in a spot where they're a division leader. You mentioned Denver already. Mexico City has staying power. We know that. How about Detroit coming out and playing some good ball? Good stuff from them. Chicago in the hunt along with Fort Worth and Sin City. Chicago lost a tough one to Charleston just a couple of days ago. That was a killer for them as they moved back to 500 and out of the playoff picture as it sits. But let's take a look at what's going on here. And this doesn't necessarily exclude teams that aren't on this list, as you have a couple of 3 and 4 teams that are watching right now on the Monday Night Spectacular. But let's play a little game of who's in, who's out. Give me a team that is on there in the playoff picture right now that could end up being out by season's end, and who's going to replace them.
Oh, this is a tough one, and I'm gonna start with the division, our division here, Curtis.
Okay.
And the way I'm looking at Charleston right now is they're a little sketchy right now. They haven't beat a winning franchise. They're 3 wins or 4 wins. I'm looking at old rosters and everything here at the moment, but this 4th win, a better win for them. But hey, 3 of their 4 wins coming against teams with only 2 wins or less.
Okay.
Here's the problem right now. They've lost to current playoff contenders, DC, Pittsburgh, Arizona. They've got a weaker schedule to back in. You could say that, hey, they've got a chance to get things going, but maybe they get a win against Carolina, but then they finish out the season on the road, critically against Fort Worth, who's making a comeback into the playoff picture, and then Lexington, who may have an outside shot at the playoff picture with a couple of crucial wins. They're going to need those wins. The biggest thing right now in this East Division is, regardless if Florida wins or loses tonight, I still think Florida can make the postseason by winning the division, because I only see Charleston maybe winning 1 or 2 games at best throughout their final 3 games of the regular season.
Okay.
Florida has tiebreaker on Charleston. All Florida needs is to win 2 games in their final 2, and they have one of the best remaining strength of schedules coming up as well. They play Baltimore, and this will be crucial because that game is at home, which might give the Storm a little bit of advantage. They play Carolina twice in the final 3 games of the regular season. Carolina's been struggling mightily. That's an opportunity to pick up a couple of games right there. I don't see Florida right now, as it stands, beating Denver. I think Denver wins that game, but I see Florida having a shot at a couple wins. All they need is 2, and I think they could easily sweep Carolina. And with Charleston only winning maybe 1 or 2 games, Florida just needs to keep pace, and as soon as they tie, that's it for Charleston.
We'll see about Carolina, because ultimately Carolina's had Florida's number the last couple of seasons. So we'll see if that is indeed something that remains the same. But I mean, new quarterbacks, new faces, and new places, that very well could be the way of things. One of the more unique rosters on this playoff list is Chicago. They don't have a contracted halfback. Ty Patak essentially does a little bit of everything for that team. How far do you see them going? Do they slip out of the playoff picture? And do they get replaced, or who do they get replaced by potentially?
I don't think Chicago slips out, because that offense has worked. They need Ty Patak to run the ball, and he does it fairly well. And it goes to show you with how they've been able to kind of keep themselves in games. When he's not able to run the football well, the passing game has relatively worked. 3rd best passing offense coming into this week, with over 250 yards on average, which is one of the best in the league at the time of this, about 3rd best in the league. So the big thing right now for Chicago is shoring up the road games. They give up one of the worst amounts on average on the road, but they're able to really maintain the pass, which is key if they can get out to leads early. So I think Chicago's able to do that, but it's really going to be telling, especially when they play Sin City this upcoming week. That's their next opponent. Thankfully, it's at home, which has been, for all intents and purposes this season, a castle for them. Unbeaten home, 3-0 this season, and they've got their next 3 games at home. An excellent opportunity for them to push forward. They get Sin City at home, a playoff hopeful. Fort Worth at home, playoff hopeful. And then they get Oklahoma City twice in back-to-back weeks to finish out the season. I still think Chicago is able to stay in the postseason. I don't see them falling out.
Fair enough. That's a good strategy to have. Pile your OKC games at the end of the season. The way OKC's been playing, that may be to their advantage, and no shot against no slight against OKC in that particular front. That said, there is a lot of football left in this game. It is the end of the first half, start of the second half in very short order, as it is Queen City up 17-7 on the Florida Storm. Two teams looking to get back into the playoff hunt. We have the thrilling conclusion and then a post-game report for you. After Cameron and Charles are done, we'll go back to those guys in Buffalo right after this.
Well, thank you, Tyler Falk and Chris Curtis, for that excellent halftime report and a look around the league. And certainly things are, this time of year, getting down to the nitty-gritty, and we've got another interesting and fascinating playoff picture, Charles. And just what they said, the changing of the guard at the top four, Pittsburgh, Houston. These are teams that, D.C., Vancouver, these are teams that are not necessarily championship staples, and outside of D.C. trying to win their first one.
Oh, well, the one that surprises me the most is Pittsburgh. I mean, I'm not taking anything away from the organization, but I thought they were going to do well this season, but, man, they are really exceeding.
Yeah, the Riverhogs sitting in first place of Queen City's division. That is the North. They are tied with the DC Dragons, but Detroit not far behind. Neither is Queen City if the Corsairs can pick up this win here tonight. They're up by 10 so far. A 2-yard run to start the drive as Chris Komisak will pick up a short 5 to set up a 3rd down and 3 for Florida in the first half. The Florida Storm 3 of 8 on 3rd down conversions. They were 1 of 3 in the second quarter.
One of the things that I kind of struck me as I was looking at the stats at halftime, both of these quarterbacks are spreading the ball around. I mean, I think there may be 1 or 2 players out there that haven't been targeted.
Boletsky on 3rd down will not get it. And how about the job from Queen City's run defense tonight? The Corsairs against the run are 8th best in the SFL, giving up just 99 yards a game. But here so far tonight, just 25 rushing yards for Florida.
And it seems like in this first series that Queen City has an extra oomph, a little bit more energy than we saw early in the game.
Up to the 38-yard line, and Bob Wood is hurt. That is monster. He's been flipping the field all night for the Corsairs, and they're already down Adrian Ellis Jr. at wide receiver. So now you're down to Davis, Clausen, and Beasley as he gets helped off the field.
Yeah, that's a big loss. I mean, they need that spark on special teams to rely on if the tide turns.
Christensen, 7 of 16, 127 yards. Justin Reside, Andy Hamilton doing a great job in our stats truck. Curtis and Tyler will be back for post. He's Charles Doherty. I'm Cameron Irvine. 1st and 10 at 38. Handoff. Osmosis in the fullback position, picking up 2. 2nd down and 8. Daniel Wright on the tackle.
Yeah, I mean, I think they got to bounce back on that loss. I mean, they've got a pretty deep wide receiver core. And, obviously they've got Matthews as well, and they can throw to their halfback. So I think they'll be okay. It's just the special teams they should be worried about.
To your point, Charles, about spreading the ball around, 13 different players tonight have caught 18 passes. 18 total passes have gone to 13 different players combined on the two teams as Osmosis gets the carry to set up a 3rd down and 5. Osmosis now 53 yards on 10 carries.
Yeah, now that I think they're going to be forced to pass on this one, but, why not target Matthew Jr. again? He's been Mr. Reliable pretty much, had some of the biggest plays of the game on receiving.
3rd and 5, Silas dropping a throw, another clean pocket. That pass is incomplete. Blanket coverage by Evan Carroll on the outside will set up a 4th down, and at least to start the 3rd quarter, Florida's defense gets a stop.
Yeah, one of the things, I rarely say anything positive about the refs, but it seems like tonight, I might have jinxed it, but they're allowing the defense and the offense to play a little bit more and not throwing the flag around. It's out there in the universe now.
Queen City punts it away, and our Vandalay, Charles, says, I'm not getting hurt like Bob Wood. I'm going to fair catch this at the 16-yard line.
I'm telling you, he's a smart man. That would be my nickname if I was a punt returner. It'd be Fair Catch Doherty.
Florida's defense. There's good old Fair Catch Doherty out there. Oh, man, I don't know. That's funny. Florida's defense over the past 3 seasons, they were giving up just 14 points a game in season 23, then 20 last season, then 27.4. They've had a consistent coaching staff. Charles, what do you how does that happen? How does the breakdown defensively happen and erode over a few seasons like that?
I mean, it could be player transition. It could be, I think that's probably one of the big ones. I mean, they lost some pretty key players.
Handoff, that is to, I don't have a 20 on the roster, which is unusual. 3rd down and 4. So I'm not sure who got that. I think it might have been Michael Bennett. But 3rd down and 4 coming up for Florida. Kind of an odd exchange there as Boletsky's really struggled tonight to get going.
I saw some guy come running out of the trees. It might have been.
Cofert's pass is incomplete, as that pass may or may not have been intended for Sasquatch. 4th and 4.
Yeah, that's another pass. We've seen it on both sides of the ball, Cam, and that was a catchable throw.
Well, kind of like how the first quarter started. Both teams with some punts. We had 4 straight punts to start the first half. We have 3 straight punts to start the second half as Marcus Agrippa gets it away. Looking for some good hang time on that, up to 4.3. The next man up, returning it for Queen City and taking a hit, is Robert Ferguson up to the 45-yard line. It's just, man, we're having to scroll down the rosters tonight, Charles.
No. Got to keep our head on a swivel.
a lot of men from running out of the trees out there.
That's right. You never know what's coming out of those trees.
1st and 10 at the 45-yard line. 6:28 to go in the 3rd quarter. Hand off to the full. That's Osmosis in the fullback spot, picking up 4. As Queen City, kind of the difference in this game, Charles, outside of the punt return, continues to hammer the running game up to 92 rushing yards tonight.
And it's been the off tackle and the pitches have been very successful.
2nd and 6. Hand off inside. That's Baker breaking a tackle, picking up the 1st down. Adam Jones cleans it up on the back end, but not before Queen City gets the 1st down.
And that works as well. I'm surprised that Baker's only got has 2 carries so far tonight. Normally they've got a pretty good mix between the 2.
Daniel Wright leads Florida in tackles with 5 so far tonight. Duncan on him with 8 total tackles, including 6 solos, leads the way for Queen City. This is a pitch, Osmosis. And one of the things that that's underrated about that play chart, you got to have good run blockers on the outside, and Joe Beasley and Guy Clausen have been that for Queen City all night.
Yeah, you got to set it, man, because if you don't, those defenders are going to just make it a living, you know what, for the runners out of the backfield.
Hand off again. This is Baker getting a few more, setting up a 3rd down and manageable. Queen City driving.
They're really relying on that run game, Cam, and so far they're driving down the field.
19 runs, 17 passes, but a little bit more run focused here on this 2nd drive of the 3rd quarter. Christensen dropping to throw. Fires into one-on-one coverage, and again, unable to make the play. Guy Clausen was defended on the play by Andre Woolfolk, who gave up that long 62-yard catch to James Matthew Jr., but this time forces a 4th and 4. Outside of field goal range, Florida's going to get the stop.
I mean, you can't blame them because that was definitely a mismatch, going up against the Woolfolk doesn't get a lot of playing time, and so just wasn't. I guess you got to give Woolfolk some credit there on the coverage.
Oh, what a punt! Oh, unbelievable punt for Queen City. Trickles out of bounds at the 1-yard line. That is unbelievable.
That is unbelievable.
Wow! I mean, that wasn't like a wonky bounce or anything. It just rolled out right at the 1.
Holy smokes. Now this is what you call a hole they got to dig out of on the Storm side.
Twin Screw's going to go in motion. One catch for 14 yards came right at the end of the first half. Just 2 targets. Ron Haynes just 1 catch for 11 yards. Handoff Boletsky, who struggled to find some room all night, and picks up a long 4 to help Florida get out of their own shadow.
Yeah, they needed some breathing room there. Nothing like 5 yards to do it.
Florida's still in this thing. They were up 7-0. They have really struggled to gain momentum since their 11-play, 65-yard drive, but the Storm still have plenty of opportunity to get back in this thing as Comisac picks up a couple, 3rd down and 3.
Wow, big play here for Florida. Not make a mistake at this part of the field. I mean, you can't make it anywhere, but this is just would be a nightmare.
3:55 to go in the 3rd. Handoff Boletsky did not get the first down. And since, as Darko Young makes the stop, since Florida's touchdown drive, they have had 3 plays punt, 3 plays interception, a fumble before the end of the half, 3 plays and a punt, 3 plays and a punt, 3 plays and a punt. If you're keeping track at home, that's 16 plays since that touchdown. They have not gained hardly anything. And Queen City will take over at the 50.
And they are dancing at midfield in a perfect position to put more points on the board.
Wow. Queen City coming on, or has a bye coming up. Could be on a 2-game winning streak heading into that bye. They only have 1 team currently above 500 left on their schedule. That is at Arizona the final week of the season, as Osmosis picks up a few yards. They've got Baltimore coming up, Sin City, Fort Worth. Now, these are not slouches, and 2 of the 3 of them are on the road. But certainly winnable games for the Corsairs, especially if they're going to play like this. Second down and 7. Christensen on a screen, hits Baker, and Baker got just 1.
That was unfortunate. He was open. I think if it would have been timed a little bit better, we would have been looking at least a first down.
3rd and 6. Queen City is 3 of 9. Florida is 3 of 11 on 3rd down, and the Corsairs 0 for 2 here in this 3rd quarter. Christensen dropping a throw. That pass is incomplete, but a flag will bail out Queen City. We'll get another look at it, but that is a monster penalty late in the 3rd quarter of this game.
That is a huge, yeah, especially in their own territory, setting them up for they're just outside of field goal range. Was that at the 30? 31?
Yeah, 32. I hate that
Far
call.
field's like 51 longest, so yeah, they're knocking at the door to put some points up.
That looked like a bang play to me, Charles. Did you see pass interference there?
It happens so fast, you know. The guys on the field definitely have a better view of it than we do way up here.
252 to 142 in total yardage, and it's about to get worse if Queen City can complete a pass out of the empty. With 42 yards here in the 3rd quarter, Christensen drops to throw, checks it off to James Matthew Jr. on a little out pattern, picking up 1 on the play, and that's Woolfolk again matched up on the tight end, 2nd and 9.
You know, I think at this point of the game, Cam, not to panic, but defense of Florida is going to have to throw some sort of wrinkle in there, maybe some extra blitzing packages in there to do something to throw them off their game.
Christensen finds James Matthew down the sideline. Touchdown, Corsairs. To your point, Charles, on another 4-man rush. Florida has done almost no blitzing tonight, and Christensen able to pick their pocket on that one and extend the lead out to 16.
And that's why he's one of the best tight ends in the league. Look at that. He catches the ball. You think he's going to get brought down by Daniel Wright. Just, muscles through it and starts waltzing in the end zone.
James Matthew Jr. scores his 63rd touchdown all time. He's up to 101 receiving yards here tonight. And for James Matthew Jr., he ties Mike Osai for 27th all time. Mike Osai An oldie but a goodie here in the SFL, and James Matthew Jr. continuing to move up those boards.
All right, so I know I'm getting older, Cam, but did he not, on that long pass in the first quarter, did he get stopped short of the end zone?
He did, yes.
Yeah, okay. First half.
62-yard bomb.
Right.
But, yep, stopped short, and then Lars Bazar able to punch it in on the dive. Christensen 9 of 20 tonight. Covert 11 of 19, 108 yards. Not a bad night, but his big problem tonight is that he's been unable to find his weapons deep down the field. Only one pass of over 22 yards.
That's right. The defense in the secondary for Queen City is playing very well.
Winscrew gets a much-needed ego boost there. First down for Florida. That'll move the chains.
Yeah, that could have been an either-or on that one. That was just a fight for the ball, and Twinscrew won that one.
I really like Twinscrew's route running is exceptional. I mean, that's an underrated quality for him for sure.
Right at the last second, it's his body positioning too. He puts his body where his back is blocking the defender from the ball.
11 of 19 for Covert. Handoff, Beletsky. Luke Swift is there to meet him, but Beletsky able to scamper for 4. Second half has been a little bit more fruitful for Bullet, but Florida's really struggled in those third and shorts.
Yeah, I mean, it's not panic yet. There's still a minute and 30 left in the third, but they gotta have a decent extended drive here and walk away with at least 3.
2nd and 6. Komisak on the carry and gets the first down. That is a tough thing to do. Pick up Chris Komisak and throw him down.
And that was an angry run, and that's the type of run that gets that offensive line pumped up. You see, your fullback putting that effort in.
18, check that, 19 runs, 20 passes for Florida. 1 minute to go in the third quarter. Florida no need to panic here, but they definitely want to get some points, and at least they're moving the ball consistently on this drive. Beletsky on a toss, and Dexter Jackson, who's been a little quiet the last couple of quarters, there to meet him.
But he's not quiet for long. He'll let you know he's out there on the field. And on that one, he just shut the runner down.
Second down and 10. This is Covert over the middle. Twinscrew first down into Queen City territory down to the 44. Storm putting it together.
Yeah, they found some holes on the in the coverage for Queen City, and they're starting to capitalize on it. And at this point, I think we said something about Florida having to make some adjustments on defense, and I'd advise the same for Queen City, driving down almost unstopped.
Toss. Beletsky to end the quarter, picks up 3. Put your 4s, 12s, 86s, all the numbers that mean something to you from those that we've lost. Whew, let's do it. Start of the fourth quarter, 24-7, Queen City on top of Florida. Alongside Annie Hamilton and Justin Reside, Charles Doherty, Cameron Irvine here with you. Chris Curtis and Tyler Falk in postgame. Going to be talking about our slate next week that starts on Saturday. The UFL semifinals are tomorrow. Your Dakota Rhinos, Charles, are still in the hunt, taking on Los Angeles out west, Cincinnati, Dallas in the east. Then the inaugural UFL championship game is on Friday. And the SFL Week 12 kicks off Saturday. We've got 9 more games on the slate this weekend, including our game next Monday, October 6th, Charles, Fort Worth, and Mexico City. It never gets old down in the south. That's going to be a big one.
I think Billy Flack just ran one right between plays.
Screen to Beletsky. There's the screen. First down. Beletsky on his first catch, just -2 yards earlier tonight. Florida dials it up right at the perfect time to keep the drive alive.
Yeah, solid possession so far. They're right on the outside here, ready to do something on the scoreboard.
Just need points. Can't afford the turnover. Got to get it to a 2-score game. Plenty of time left. 9:12 to go in the fourth quarter. Florida's got to do it, and they got to do it now. Hand off Comisac. This time bottled up. And Greg McDonaldson actually pancaked Robert Crone at the end of that play, but Crone was the one that blew it up.
Actually thought he was going to be able to pull away there at the last second.
8:50 to go in the fourth quarter. Covert dropping a throw, picked up by Alex Marshall, who lost the ball, and it's picked up by Queen City.
Unbelievable.
It was laying there forever.
That's the 5th interception for Alex Marshall. And are you sure it was picked up by Queen City? Yep, right there at the last second. Heads up play. Oh my gosh.
Man, Florida had every opportunity to pounce back on that football, and I'm surprised they weren't able to get it done. And now Queen City will take over after the Florida turnover, and now things are a little bit more doom and gloom for the Storm. Their 3rd turnover of the day.
And Queen City's been successful on what they need to be successful in at this point of the game, running to the fullback, running to the halfbacks, short swing passes to them. They're in a good position to start eating up this clock.
This would be the largest margin of victory in Corsair franchise history over Florida. They've beaten them just twice as Bizarre trucks his way to a first down, but their largest margin of victory came back when this Florida Storm or the Alaska Storm, a 15-point win. They're up by 17 right now with 7:50 to go in the fourth.
Why did they move?
They
remember
they were in Alaska because they wanted snow games, and then they never got any, and so they're like, okay, well, let's move the team local because we can't seem to get any snow when it's game day. And off to Osmosis, picks up a yard, 2nd and 9. That's Daniel Wright on the tackle. A $5 super chat.
Go ahead,
Sorry, $5 super chat from Canada from Mark Lopez. I can't hit the like button more than once, so here's a Cup of Joe's super chat instead. Go SFL. Thank you, Mark. Hit that
that's
like
$5
button.
Canadian?
Yep, $5 Canadian.
What's the rate?
You know, Mike Daggs always insults Mark Lopez.
I'm not insulting. I'm just curious. I am just curious.
I don't know because I'm not smart. So I'm going to say that's $10. $10 US from Mark Lopez. Great job. Evan Carroll picks up a wild Chris Curtis laugh appears on her broadcast. Curtis, buddy, it's not your time yet. That might have been the most interesting thing to happen in this second half. Very good, Curtis. You're still on the air. You're still laughing. Oh, man.
Ghost of logo passed.
Oh, no. Sorry. 3rd down and 9. Silas Christensen, down the field to the 31-yard line. Joe Beasley for a first down.
Amazing. We talked about the wide receivers being able to recover from that Bob Wood injury. Granted, he's not the number 1 or number 2 wide receiver, but man, the likes of Joe Beasley just stood up there and was able to excel when the team needed them.
At least I know Curtis still laughs at my jokes behind the scenes when he's not actually on the air. See, it's genuine laughter, folks. He's not just doing it on camera, just to appease me.
It's like rib rattling. It's a rib rattling laugh.
First down and 10 at the Florida 31-yard line, 6:20 to go in the fourth quarter, and Osmosis picks up a couple. You know, I'm looking now I'm watching him behind the scenes. Now I got to keep my eye on him because I can't trust it. Tyler's upset that the attention was swayed away from him. He didn't get his laugh on the broadcast. He's kind of stewing in his chair. And
equal airtime. I know it's in their contract.
Just waiting for their opportunity here in post. 5:55 to go in the fourth quarter. Christensen trying to put the dagger on the Florida. Daniel Wright knocks the football away. 3rd down and 8 coming up for the Corsairs.
Oh, Daniel Wright had his crosshairs on that ball. Oh, my gosh, so close. I mean, if I was Florida, I'd try and, send a couple extra people in there to try and do something to throw Christensen off.
3rd down and 8 Christensen's pass is incomplete, so at least it will still be a 3-score game. Okay, Chris Curtis has our conversion, so finally he is actually helping our program. So $5 super chat from Canada is 3. Okay, now Tyler's showing me that he beat me in fantasy. This I already know. Stay on topic. All right, $5 U.S. Canadian super chat is 3.58937 cents. As that field goal is good from Canada. I thought we were getting rid of the penny. What are all the other numbers that we? What do we got to do with those?
That's like a Dixie cup of coffee.
Wow. Say, what is it with everybody is just hating on Mark Lopez for his Canadian
I don't hate on Mark
super
Lopez.
chat.
He's the professor.
Mark Lopez is a professor?
He's the football professor.
No, that's true. I mean, just look at the standings. Vancouver only bested by Houston so far this season. That's why the Headhunters are in first place. Adam Jones on the return of the 37. So 5:39 to go in the fourth quarter. It's now or never for Florida. The no huddle will start inside 5 minutes.
Definitely, and this is when you start getting the likes of Haynes and Twin Screw, and I mean Art's been pretty quiet on the receiving game as well.
Art and Ron, a combined 2 catches on 9 targets for 46 yards. Matthew Jr. is the game's leading receiver. He's the only skill position up over 100 yards. Osmosis, 74 yards on 16 carries, back-to-back. Very impressive games for him. Boletsky takes the handoff to pick up 4 as we wait for under 5.
They had a crew waiting on the edge there, and Belmont ended it.
Eric Belmont in his second SFL season, 6'4", 220, one of the bigger corners out there in the SFL. Davidson also 6'4". Comisac on the handoff. Comisac going to make it third down and short, and coming up under sub-5 to play. This will be important, Charles, what they come out in, and third and inches, they might get a heavy set here.
Ryan. Yeah, probably. Looks like it. Oh, yeah.
They have struggled on third and short tonight, although Boletsky not in the ball game. This is Bettis taking the handoff for the first down. Now that's important too as we go into no huddle with 4:38 to go in the ball game. Covert dropping a throw, dumps that one off to Bettis. That lost a yard, 2nd and 11. This is just bad luck for the Storm.
Yep, they need stoppage.
Covert needs to throw it in the dirt. There you go. A pass incomplete. They'll get a reset. Ron Haynes, the intended target, can't come up with it. 3rd down and 11.
And now it's I'd be surprised if they running it here. I mean, they're definitely gonna have to go air storm from this forward.
Air storm, I like that. Ron Haynes in the slot. Off to the right. Who can get open? For Isaac Covert, 15-25 tonight. Covert down the field, incomplete. Threw it past the sticks. That's what you want. Vandelay in tight coverage from Eric Belmont, and they got to go for it here on 4th down, Charles. Florida has converted more 4th downs than anyone in the league this season. 4 of 8. They've also had more 4th down attempts than anyone.
I'd probably say the best in 4th down like ever.
They've been pretty darn good. Let's see if they can go 5 of 9. Keep the game alive. Play fake Covert. Covert has time. Incomplete. Knocked away by Alex Marshall, who's been brilliant in the second half. And Queen City gets another defensive stop.
Man, Darko was running for the shrubberies in the end zone. Ran right by the quarterback. That was amazing.
Queen City shut out Carolina in this building on August 22nd, just a month ago. And here tonight, they've given up just 7 points to the Storm, who are more than likely going to fall to 3-5 as the toss play goes out to Osmosis. A $4.99 super chat from Ryan Davis. Eric Belmont in his first ever start at corner, playing great tonight for the inactive Bentley Bonner. And that's a great point from Ryan Davis, Charles, because, it's next man up mentality. We haven't necessarily seen that out of the Florida defense, but we have out of Queen City's tonight.
And he's a well-built, his ratings are very well-built, and he's able to step in there and replace the likes of Bonner.
3:38 to go in the fourth. 2nd down and 6. This game is about all wrapped up. But don't forget, Chris Curtis, Tyler Falk, please support those gentlemen and the channel. Getting a little preview of Week 12 coming up and reaction to this game and everything going on around the SFL. Charles, I'm excited for 2026. A lot of behind-the-scenes stuff, a lot of stuff that people don't know about yet, but man, we're working hard, and man, it's going to be a great end to season 25, and looking forward to next season as well.
Likewise.
How many seasons in a row for us, Charles?
In a row? Wow. Good question.
Is this 3 in a row for us?
I would say probably 3.
And off to Bazaar, got the first down. How many did we do back in that old Denton apartment that I thought I was going to get noise complaints at every night?
I think that was at least 2 seasons.
Yeah, man. It's, great to have you alongside me each and every week.
And it was fun down in your in Louisiana.
Yeah, that was a blast for the championship game. Great championship game, and Vancouver and Mexico City. Who knows? Maybe we'll do it all again in November.
It was fun.
We got Thanksgiving plans. We got a championship around Thanksgiving this season.
Oh wow! Well, let's see.
Thanksgiving night. No, I'm just kidding. Osmosis. Picking up nothing. I always thought, Charles, as we hit the 2-minute warning, I always wondered if we did a big championship on Thanksgiving, what would viewership be like? I mean, everybody's full. Put the game on.
The pregame could be at the table.
Yeah,
we could be part of the turkey.
Yeah. No, nobody wants to watch the Cowboys at 4:25 anyway. That's old and tired.
Yeah, right.
Can't believe they tied us.
I was waiting for someone in chat to say something about coming to Vancouver.
2 minutes to go. 3rd down and 10. Florida takes a timeout. Jesse Fritz, $10 super chat. 25 seasons. What a ride so far. I imagine it feels like yesterday. Here's to many, many more. It's just crazy. We're still here. The internet is a fast-moving place. We're still here doing great stuff. Amazing games. Didn't necessarily get an amazing game here tonight, Charles, as Queen City, really put together an impressive game. But, wow, we had some games this week that were out of control. Charleston, Chicago comes to mind as Osmosis does a nice job not going out of bounds, but he's not going to pick up the first. Queen City has an opportunity to get more points here.
I'll tell you, though, what I saw was a very, very solid team effort by Queen City. They started out really sluggish, and you and I made comments about it several times during that first quarter. But something hit them in that second, and they just took complete command of the game.
This is a long one. This might be from 50. That is off the crossbar and no good. That close to 250,000 for Joe Garfield.
Oh, no. You know what it was? It was the shrubbery. It was the shrubbery in the stands.
Yeah, that is just nuts. Wouldn't the trees absorb the wind? How does wind work? I am not a scientist. You're putting me in a...
I don't know. Somebody was probably in the trees, and it moved the misgauged the wind.
I don't think that's how that works. We don't know. My degree wasn't in science. What was your
marketing?
Marketing? Okay, well, that's definitely not science. Timeout, Florida. Eric Brewington in the chat. I just want to say I really do love the Virtual Football Network, and please keep up the great work. Thank you, Eric.
Nice.
Your support.
You see nice comments in game chat.
Covert's pass incomplete. And man, you just feel for, Joe Garfield in the Corsair. That's about the only thing that hasn't gone right tonight. Is Queen City was trying to hit that 30-point mark for the first time this season.
And it was right on the edge. I mean, what is his longest was 51? Was that a 52-yarder?
It looked like it was 50, but could have been 51 as well, as Covert hits Vandelay for the first down, so Florida keeps the drive alive.
That was a nice pitch and catch right there, Art.
Covert incomplete. Covert's now up to 17-31, making our stats crew work a little harder down the stretch of this game with 1:19 to go. Queen City, in a wild win over Pittsburgh, won 45-42 in Week 10 of last season. So that was the last time they put up 30.
If one of our stats person leaves the truck and goes into game chat, did they lose credit for doing stats that game?
Of course
I'm asking
not.
for a friend.
This is good. This is good old-fashioned multitasking. Elijah Quick with the deflection. Third down coming up for Florida.
Saying I smell like cheese.
Hey, Charles, I think that's good.
Depends on the cheese. There's some stuff you don't want to cheese you don't want to smell.
Yeah, that's true. What cheese does Charles smell like? Everybody in the chat, let us know. Covert,
thanks, Cam.
Back to pass. That is caught at the 17-yard line for a first down for Twin Screw. There's an injured Corsair on the field. Munster, says Tyler Falk. That is big number 99 for Queen City, probably exhausted from this no huddle. Dana Stubblefield. First down for the Storm.
He wasn't used to all those reps.
Florida hanging around here. Florida trying to make sure that Queen City does not get their largest margin of victory in this series. At the 16-yard line, it's the little victories at this point for Florida. Pass caught by Twin Screw down to the one. Oh, my, the ball is on the goal line.
I thought he got in.
Covert, dangerous territory here. Incomplete, looking for Vandelay. Second down and goal coming up.
Wow. I thought that last play he crossed the threshold.
Fromunda cheese? Says Curtis. Fromunda what? What is Fromunda cheese? Oh, man, there's some mold on that. That looks, that doesn't look very good. Covert's, Covert, what was that? It flew out of his hands. It didn't hit anybody.
Didn't?
Did that hit a helmet of a defender? I mean, that ball went straight in the air.
They were showing Chris Cooper, the defensive tackle.
Wow, third down and goal. That was surprising. Covert will dump it off to Poletsky. Wow, fourth and goal. Queen City not letting him in. Dexter Jackson with the tackle.
Of course, it's got to be Dexter Jackson. He's been, closing the drives all night.
Wow, here's another fourth down for Florida. Fourth and goal. Covert dumps it short, and it's caught by Mike Twin Screw for a touchdown. Wow, Twin Screw gets in the end zone, and he'll end up with 7 catches for 74 yards and a score tonight. Another fourth down conversion for Florida.
And they needed something to walk away with something, because they were outscored 27-0 from the second quarter on. That's amazing.
DJ the Myth asks, why not just sneak it in? Because once you're in no huddle offense, you do not run at any point of the field. So Florida was stuck in passing offense. You needed something for the situation, and Florida got it. Just a quick little drag route from Twin Screw makes it 27-14. Florida going to try the onside kick with 29 seconds to go. A rocket launcher is right into the midst of Queen City, taking it back for the touchdown to preserve that largest margin of victory. Woodson with the score, and Queen City back up by 19.
Wow. Look at that lane he had to go down. It wasn't even, not one special teams player was close to touching him.
Well, Queen City got their 30-plus points. And, if you're Florida, that's so deflating, Charles, because you just drove 11 plays, 56 yards, and took a lot of time off the clock to get down there, and then Queen City does it in one play. And it's just like, you didn't even do anything.
Yeah, that was, that's happened so many times in onside kicks in this league.
And a kneel down from Adam Jones, 22 seconds left in the half. And when you think about it, Charles, Queen City's up by 20, but they got 2 special teams touchdowns tonight. And without those, this could have been a nail-biter.
Yeah, definitely. But again, they just on all facets of the game, and starting from the first, midway through the first quarter till now, midway through the second quarter, till now, has just been, exemplary.
Culver dropping a throw. That pass is incomplete. Who is your player of the game tonight, Charles?
Well, you know what? I am going to say Matthew Jr.
Yeah, I like that.
On defense, though, I'm also going to give the ball to Dexter Jackson.
Yeah, and Alex Marshall with a couple picks there late, or a couple major plays. He did fumble, but Queen City was able to hang on to it as Twin Screw or Vandalay gets another reception. That's the 20th completion for Covert. His stat line will end up pretty decent. Going back to Matthew Jr., it was his 62-yard catch down the field that essentially helped spur Queen City's run in the second quarter.
And a couple big runs as well from the fullbacks. I think Bazaar got one on osmosis too to bump up the crowd.
Culver deep. And 2 seconds remain on the clock. 3rd and 10.
Well, the last quarter and 75% of the fourth went by pretty fast. I'm going to leave it at that. Very fast.
In Queen City's 296 total games, as Carroll makes the catch, that was the 70th time Queen City has scored over 30 points, as Queen City tries to become the first team, or will become the first team, to get to 300 franchise games coming up later in the season, I believe, against the Fort Worth Toros. We'll have to confirm, but for now, that's all she wrote. 34-14, Queen City takes out Florida tonight in a battle of 3 and 4 teams. The Corsairs get themselves back firmly in the wild card picture at 4 and 4. Florida still searching for answers, but that means Charleston is still your East Division leader at 4 and 5. The Predators can breathe easy. Another tough night for the Storm. Final thoughts, Charles?
We've got Queen City now with 2 games in a row. Let's see if they can carry that momentum on and maybe get a run for the playoffs here. This win against Florida. Both of these teams had some issues we talked about at the top of the game, but it was all down to coaching and maximum use of the players you had on the field. And clearly, Queen City didn't have it at the beginning of the game, as we said a bunch of times, but they were able to make the right adjustments and just command the game and walk away with a win.
Florida's got Baltimore next week. 2 legacy franchises struggling. Queen City, enjoy your bye. You're now 4 and 4. Chris Curtis and Tyler Falk are coming up next post-game, and a look at next week's epic Week 12 slate. We will see you back at the studios. One moment.
Muted, bro.
Hi, let's try this again. Yeah, absolutely. From under cheese to a Queen City victory. Awesome. Welcome into the Monday Night Spectacular post-game report. I'm Chris Curtis. That over there is Tyler Falk. And Queen City does the job. A 19-point victory, getting their best margin of victory over the Florida Storm all time in SFL lore. Tyler, break it down for me. A lot to a lot less, I think, is a good way to put this. Florida just riding the struggle bus right now.
Yeah, a lot of laughing when you're not supposed to, and a lot of not talking when you're supposed to. I mean, yeah, you know what? Let's go on to Queen City. Let's move on past the blind man here, who I guess is mute as well now. I have no idea. Andy McCoozle, Corsairs do an excellent job of getting the victory here today. Defense playing phenomenal against Florida. Special teams getting a couple of big touchdowns. The punt return touchdown from Bob Wood, who would eventually go out injured, and then the onside kick return touchdown as well. So 2 good special teams plays make this score a little bit more vaunted than had it been just offensive scoring. But hey, that's all they care about is more points. It's the first time this season that the Corsairs have scored more than 30. So this is a really good step for the Corsairs to get it done. Now the question is, can they prepare enough in the bye week next week to really face their true test to whether or not the Corsairs will be in the playoffs or not? It's a tough slate. 3 out of the 4 games are on the road, and the one home game is against the Fort Worth Toros. And I don't know, Curtis. We've seen Queen City have these moments where they can figure out something, they can get stuff done, and then all of a sudden it just slips away. Last season they had to go to 6-6. I don't think they were in the postseason. No, they were not in the postseason. Are they going to get to 6-6 and miss the postseason again, or is it going to be just enough for them? I don't know. Too soon to tell. For Florida, rough night. Another rough night, especially from the run game. Here's the big difference in the game tonight here, Curtis. Both quarterbacks threw roughly around 200 yards before the last 2-minute final 2 minutes of the game for the Storm. So Covert has some more yards than, more in quote unquote garbage time. But the key thing and why the Corsairs were able to win today is because Christensen had the backing of osmosis in the rest of the running game, while Florida had nothing. Leading runner Komisak under 30 yards. Bullet Boletsky under 30 yards. So it's just showing everybody that Florida's not able to get it done when it matters in both sectors, which has led them to losses. Corsairs are able to get it done tonight because they were able to.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned the special teams. If we take away the special team scores, that's 2 touchdowns right there. This is a 20-14 game, and we are talking about a very different score line. So it does make a difference when you are not able to execute in one of those 3 phases. But Queen City gets the win. They go on the bye. Florida has Baltimore next on the schedule. But congrats to Queen City on that victory. This officially puts them in the playoff hunt. We'll see how long it lasts. Going forward, we have week 12 on the horizon. I know you've been looking at the schedule. I have as well. And we want to go over kind of what we're looking at day by day for the week 12 slate. It gets started on Saturday. Houston, Denver, Detroit, DC, Lexington, Carolina, and Washington, LA. Well, I'm going to give you first pick. Give me your game that you're picking that you want to watch and why.
Oh man, the early block on Saturday is very, very enticing. You have 4 playoff contending teams in the playoff picture right now that are going at it. And I'm guessing you'll probably pick the other one. So let's just start off from the top. I'll take Houston and Denver. And this is a really good prove-it game for both teams. Houston going on the road, which they really haven't had too much trouble this season. And Denver, can they take down the current league leaders that have the most wins in the league? This is going to be a fun game of who's got the better up-and-coming coaching staff. Has Houston finally made that mark, made the jump to be a stalwart team, or is Denver the team that's still going to tweak things and still going to keep Houston guessing all night long? That is going to be a very fun game to watch.
It is, yeah. Both of those games in that early block are definitely litmus tests for the lower ranking teams. Denver looking to try to measure themselves up against the current measuring stick at the top of the heap. Detroit is in a measuring stick game of their own against the, I believe, 4-seeded right now, DC Dragons, who sit at 6-2. Not only that, but Detroit has to go on the road to the Coliseum to get it done. They're in the middle of Jakara, says that is not going to be a fun one for them, but it's going to be a prove-it game as they try to show that they belong in that spot. Detroit has had a good season so far, but it could be a lot worse if things don't go their way in DC. What's so funny over there?
If I
Nope.
told you, I'd have to kill you.
Didn't see that coming. Anyway, okay, so let's move to the Sunday block. It is Baltimore, Florida, Sin City, Chicago, Vancouver, Albuquerque, and Bossier City, Oklahoma City. Again, I'll give you first pick. Go for it.
Oh boy, another good couple of matchups in here, but I'm gonna go ahead and pick Sin City and Chicago, two teams that are on the other side of the matchup I covered earlier, on the outside looking in. Is the running game enough with type attack for Chicago? Is that defense going to slow down Sin City, or is Sin City going to come into Chicago and show the league who they truly are in a one-trick pony? And that's really the story. Is Sin City the team to do it? And which team is the prove-it team? Which team has the cut of the jib to get the things that they need to do to get it done?
Yep. And on the other side of that, Vancouver and Albuquerque is who I'll be watching. Another prove it game for me. Looking at Albuquerque, they have Vancouver coming into their house. Albuquerque typically plays pretty well on the road. So this, or at home, I should say. And so this should be a game to watch and fairly competitive all the way through, depending on how Vancouver comes into play. So that's the one I'll be watching on that side. And then we take a look at the Monday Night Spectacular for a week from now. It is Fort Worth and Mexico City. And I know that Mike Daggs is watching. I know that Nacho and Steven will have their guys ready to go as well. This is going to be a good one. Give me a key point or two from the Fort Worth, Mexico City matchup.
Well, the Toros are starting to really turn things around a little bit. Good win this past weekend, and now the Aztecs. Well, they've got an opportunity here to really solidify and take stock of what they have. But I really don't know. Mexico City's had those two losses, and they've both been a little bit suspect. This is going to definitely be a trap game because, of course, this is a Tex-Mex Cajun rivalry clash that is really going to test both teams. And I really hope Mexico City is ready for it because I know the Toros really want to stride back into the postseason berth. This one's going to be going to be another South Division classic.
Yeah, that's going to be a fun one, no doubt. But you're right about Mexico City. They have a chance to really solidify themselves and kind of reputation-wise earn back a little bit of that belief that from other people that they can do what they are set out to do. It can be argued that as of right now, they've taken a step back. So they're looking to jump back into the driver's seat and maybe even potentially catch Houston. As Houston's got a couple of tough games ahead of them too. So could be a fun one coming up Monday Night Spectacular, 8:15 Eastern in 1 week's time. Hopefully you and I will be there. And if not, either way, it'll be a fun game regardless. So that is the week 12 slate as we see it, as Queen City wraps up a 34-14 win from Buffalo. And that is going to do it for the Monday Night Spectacular in week number 11. For Tyler Falk, for all the statisticians, for Cameron Irvine, Charles Doherty, I'm Chris Curtis saying goodbye and good night from the SFL studios. We will see you guys in 1 week's time for the Monday Night Spectacular, and week 12 starts on Saturday. Have a good night.